I have a lot of plants that need some desperate attention. It's the weekend, it's a gloomy day, and you know what that means. It's the perfect day for plant chores. So in today's video, we're gonna repot some plants, try to rehab some plants, just have a nice little cozy hangout session. This video will probably be quite chatty, so I suggest you put this on in the background while you do your own plant chores, or if you just wanna chill and hang out with me, grab yourself a cozy little beverage, a little snack, get comfortable, and let's get started with the plant care extravaganza. First things first, we're gonna work on probably my favorite plant at the moment, which is the Anthurium Ace of Spades Dressleri Hybrid. Y'all, how beautiful is this plant? I am obsessed with this plant. This grows in ambient conditions out here on my VidShow plant shelf, and I feel like this goes to show you that you do not need high humidity or cabinets or tents to grow beautiful Anthuriums. Now, this is a hybrid, and Anthurium hybrids are definitely a lot hardier. I find that the key with Anthuriums is not letting them dry out, having them in a very nice, chunky, airy mix, and also feeding them a lot. I regularly feed all of my plants with a really high dosage, and obviously the results speak for themselves. Now, the thing that I need to do with this plant is I need to repot it because the root situation is getting out of control. I usually like to repot my Anthuriums the moment that I see a lot of roots around the edge of the pot. I should have repotted this months ago. As a lot of you may know, I did move recently, and I only recently got all of my potting supplies, my potting mat, my pots, my substrate, so I wasn't able to repot my plants, but I am able to do so now, and I'm really excited to repot this plant in particular because the more room Anthuriums have to kind of spread their legs and spread their roots, the bigger they can get. Can you just imagine this leaf, but like huge? It's gonna be so stunning. Anyway, I am talking so much, but I truly just absolutely love this plant. And if you're looking for a hardy, beautiful, dark Anthurium, I highly recommend the Ace of Spades Dress Hybrid. She also does have a pup back here that has 2 leaves. This is the newest leaf on the puppy. So yeah, I could probably even divide this plant, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna keep her intact. I'm gonna be transitioning her from a 12 centimeter pot to a 15 centimeter pot. Now, usually a lot of people like to boat mode their Anthuriums, which means putting them in a way bigger vessel, and I sometimes do that as well. However, the issue with upsizing any plant so drastically is that, first of all, you run the risk of having root rot and the plant declining, but the bigger issue for me is that I just don't have space, okay? Even this size of pot, which is like a medium pot size, is kind of a squeeze on my VidShow shelf, and I don't really have any other spaces for my plants beside my VidShow shelf, so yeah, it's not gonna be a huge upgrade, but it's still gonna be an upgrade nonetheless. The mix that I use for a majority of my plants, but mostly my finicky plants and the plants that I love, and particularly Anthuriums, is the Plant Scraper Supreme Aeroid mix. I absolutely love their mix. It's so chunky, so nice and fluffy. And this batch in particular also has a little bit of pon in there and also some additional tree fern fiber because I just had some laying around, so I just mixed it all in. I definitely find that Anthuriums love a tree ferny type of mix. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the plant from its current setup. Also, another reason why I need to repot this plant is because it constantly drying out. And as I mentioned before, anthuriums don't really like to be dry. I find that most of my anthuriums grow the best when I keep up with watering. But as you can see, that is an extremely healthy, robust, beautiful looking root system. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, is why I love this plant scraper mix. There isn't a single rotten, dead, mushy, dry root in there, and I love that. I'm not gonna touch that root ball. I only really mess around with the root ball if I see some root rot or just other issues. When it's a situation like this where the roots are perfectly healthy, I don't like messing with it. I am using a little transparent nursery pot. Absolutely love these transparent nursery pots. They're my favorite thing ever. I'm gonna put some soil at the bottom, and I definitely wanna bury some of the stem as well, because the more of the stem that you bury, the more chances the plant has to actually root out of those spots. And I actually can see another pup growing out of this plant. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but like right there is another activated growth point, which is crazy. Actually, I can see two. Holy moly. Okay. I can see two additional activated growth points. Wow. Okay. So we might be getting more pups, which is really lovely. So in theory, I will be able to share this plant. I think for the benefit of the plant, it would be better if I were to remove the pups, but I don't want to do that right now, so I'm not gonna touch those pups. I'm just gonna put it in the pot and backfill it. Oh my God, you guys. We had the craziest weather over here the past 2 days. We had some crazy winds. Croatia's climate is very mild. We have 4 seasons, but they're on the whole pretty mild. We sometimes have like pretty hot summers or like cold winters, but like no real natural disasters. So we got hit by some crazy windstorms and it was wild. There is so much damage all around the city, like trees were falling down, roofs were flying. It was an absolute mess. My mom actually had to stay over at my place last night because the trains weren't running. She wanted to go home after work, but the trains weren't running, so she had to come over to my place. And I'm so glad that I finally moved to Zagreb because I just have been noticing so many like blessed moments, because like I mentioned, my mom was able to actually come over and she didn't have to wait like 4 hours for the next train. So that's already a blessing. I was able to go to my office and not have to commute for 2 hours in this crazy weather. We actually had to go. Fridays are usually our hybrid days, like you can stay at home if you want to, but we had a meeting that day and Friday was like the day of the storm. So it was like, are they gonna cancel it? Are they not gonna cancel it? And they didn't cancel it, which was like kind of really queen, but it's fine. I was still able to go. And in the end, I'm glad that I went because after those like work meetings, we usually have like a little party and like drinks and food. So that's always a fun time. As much as I am not the biggest fan of my current work situation, my colleagues are literally the best thing ever. Like those people are so amazing and we always have a great time. So I am glad that I went, but the weather was crazy. I literally thought that my windows were gonna break, but thankfully today is a lot calmer. Unfortunately, it did cool down a lot, which I'm not happy about. Like I want spring, I want summer, not this nonsense. I don't want to go back to winter. Anyway, Anthurium Ace of Spades Dressleri is done. And now she has a lot more room to spread her legs and hopefully give me some beautiful big leaves, which would be stunning. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next plant. And the next plant is gonna be my stunning Burly Mox Flame. She actually pushed out this new leaf recently, and look at that. It is so stunning, and it is getting quite big. Unfortunately, no new fenestrations compared to the previous leaf, but I am still happy about the size of this leaf, and I am really excited to watch this plant grow. Now, because the leaf fenestration situation stayed the same, my assumption is that this thing is root bound and that it does need a bit of a repot. You can probably tell at the bottom the roots are starting to spiral, which is usually a sign that your plant needs a repot. Unfortunately, the thrips got to her. Y'all know, if you've been on my channel, thrips are my kryptonite. I can never get rid of them. And so many of you always leave lovely comments. And a lot of you always mention things that I can use to treat thrips, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm just lazy. I'm lazy, and I also just don't wanna invest the time, money, energy into treating my whole collection. And I know a lot of you also mentioned beneficials, which I would love to do. However, I am just not able to get them over here in Croatia as far as I know. As far as I'm aware, beneficials in Croatia aren't really a thing. I haven't seen them in any of my local plant stores or on any online shops. There are some in like the Netherlands and Germany, but obviously because the beneficials need to be shipped pretty fast, they don't ship to Croatia, which is unfortunate. However, I will say, even if I had the option of beneficials, I'm not convinced that I would be going down that route. Mainly because of just the financial burden. Beneficials are, from what I saw, extremely expensive, and I'm just not ready to put in such a big investment. And you know what? The thing with thrips is that or like any pest really, is that I know that they will return. Like at some point, they will come back. It could be a month, it could be 3, it could be a year, but I know they will come back or some other pest will replace it. So to me, I don't want to say it's not worth treating my collection, but as long as I'm not seeing like any detrimental damage to my collection, I'm not gonna panic. Like all of my plants, as you can tell, are still growing, still doing fine, still thriving. And that's, to me, the important thing. If they have a little bit of damage here or there, that doesn't really bother me. And something I try to always remind myself of is that plants in nature aren't perfect. So how can I expect my plants in like indoor conditions to be perfect? They can't. They just can't. And I just want to let go of that whole ideology of plants needing to be perfect. So what if they have a little bit of damage, a little bit of scarring? I think that just shows their story, just like with people, right? So I'm not worried, I'm not stressed. I am annoyed, I will say that. I really am annoyed by the thrips, but it just is what it is. And over the years, I just learned to live with it. And I'm really actually happy with how far I've gotten with my mentality towards pests, and honestly with my mentality in this plant hobby in general, because I used to stress out so much about my plants not sizing up or not doing well or getting root rot or forgetting to water them. I would always feel like I was a bad plant parent. Over the years, I'm just learning to let go of that notion and just enjoy this hobby, because ultimately that's what this is all about. It's about having fun and having these beautiful pieces of nature in our homes. Anyway, The Burley Mox is done. She is potted up. She's a bit hard to show because the grow light is above her, so all of her leaves are facing towards the ceiling. And this is actually one of my last plants on moss poles. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with this plant once it gets to the top of the moss pole. If I extend the moss pole, it won't be able to fit on my shelf anymore, which would be annoying. And if I don't, I feel like I will lose some leaf size. So I don't know, but I feel like I still have at least maybe 6-7 leaves to go before that happens. Luckily, this plant has very compact internodal spacing, so I still have some time, but yeah, I absolutely love this plant. If you watched one of my previous videos where I went plant shopping, I got some new plants recently, and one of them being the ponytail palm, and I definitely want to repot those new plants that I got in that hole because I do not like keeping plants in the soil that I buy them in, because first of all, this soil is just way too dense for my environment, and second of all, I just do not trust this soil, and I do not trust the nasties that are in this soil. Okay, so I unpotted this plant, and first thing I can see is there are some good roots, which is amazing. However, I can also tell that there are some dry roots, which is not great. But I feel like the ponytail palm is a pretty hardy plant, so I'm sure she will be fine. I'm a little bit scared of messing with the root ball of this plant. I've never had a ponytail palm, and I never had plants with such like big, what are these called? Stems? Is this a stem? You know what I mean, with these things that store a lot of water. So I'm not sure how to approach the care for this plant. I obviously know that it is quite prone to root rot and overwatering issues, so I actually haven't watered this plant since I got it. So that's definitely part of the reason why the substrate is so dry, but it is falling off quite easily, and some of the like newer roots at the bottom definitely look healthy, so I think this plant will be fine. This feels so this feels so strange holding this plant like this. Oh well, but yeah, this soil is just dry. Good God. And obviously it has absolutely no amendments, which is not great. This kind of soil is great if you grow your plants in like ideal conditions, aka greenhouse conditions. But when you're growing indoors, I find I at least need a chunky mix because I just don't have the best light available. I feel like the more light and humidity you have in your environment, the more you can be carefree about the type of substrate you use. I mean, obviously, a high quality substrate will yield better results, but I feel like if I had like a really good south-facing window, like lots of light, lots of humidity, I feel like this substrate would be perfectly suitable, but because I don't have those conditions, I need to use a substrate that has some amendments. But at least the soil is falling off quite easily, which is grand. I can definitely see some lovely roots. So overall, I think this plant will be happy. Now I will say a con of living in an apartment is that plant care and plant chores are definitely a little bit harder. At my old home, I obviously had a outdoor space where I could wash my plants, where I could throw this like old soil in the compost and stuff. And over here, I don't have those options. So I feel like it gets a lot messier, and I am not I'm not the biggest fan of mess. I think that's the biggest con for me about plant care and keeping plants, the mess. The mess. I'm generally a pretty clean person and I like my space to be clean, and when you have a lot of plants, it's really, really hard to keep your spaces looking nice and clean, but oh well. Okay, so I feel like I got rid of a lot of the dry roots, and this is what I'm left with, which is not the best. I was planning on putting this into this pot, but looking at it now, it might be a bit too big for this root system, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. We're gonna say YOLO and see how it will turn out. So I'm gonna use this pot. This is from Elho. I really, really love these pots. Technically, the bottom isn't detachable, but I just break it and then it's able to be detached. I do not understand why somebody would design a pot with a saucer that's not detachable. So that makes no sense to me. I'm actually going to be using a bit of a different soil mix for this plant because I don't want to be wasting my expensive soil on that plant, and also because I'm not going to be watering this plant as much. I feel like I can get away with a bit of a denser mix. At least I hope so. I don't know how much of the Codex, this thing, I should bury. I guess I'm gonna go like so, because I do still want to make it pretty stable. Like I don't want it wobbling around everywhere. How have you guys been? How has spring treated you thus far? Unfortunately, at the time of filming this, we are switching our clocks again and we're going like 1 hour forward, which is great because there's gonna be a lot more sun and daylight. However, I am not good with change. And whenever the time changes, it takes me forever to actually get used to it and get back into my regular routine. So that's kind of annoying. And also just the fact that I'm gonna be losing an hour of my weekend is not fun. However, I am looking forward to coming back home from work and there still being light outside. And I will be actually able to film again after work, because all winter long I could only really film during the weekends, because that was literally the only time that I was home when I had some daylight. But now I will be able to come back from work and still have a couple of hours of daylight left, which is gonna be amazing. And I am just looking forward to, you know, warmer, longer days. Okay, so the ponytail palm is donezo. I don't know how this plant will do in this setup, but hopefully she will be happy. Now the next plant that I want to work on is the Rhipsalis that I got in that haul. I already forgot the name of this plant, but a lot of you said that you also owned this plant or own this plant, and that it's a really, really cute, easy one. So yay, I'm looking forward to growing this plant out. But again, I just want to get it out of this horrible substrate, because this is just awful. And this plant doesn't have, oh my god, it's a plug plant. Are you kidding me? I hate this. I absolutely hate this. As you can see, it's a plug over here. And like, why? Is it so difficult to just like remove the plug? And this is like, it's not a mesh plug. Oh god, I don't know what the hell this is, but this plant has basically no roots. Oh god, okay. This is not looking good, y'all. This is not looking great. I mean, oh, yikes, bitch. So this is all of the roots. Not a lot. Do I fiddle with it and possibly make the whole situation worse? I think I'm just gonna leave it as is and see see what will happen. I'm gonna pot it into a similar sized pot. I'm obviously not gonna be upsizing this plant because this root system is not it, sis. Oh, I just broke a whole portion of the plant off. No! God dang it. Oh my god. From my understanding, I think I can just pot this back in with the plant and it will root. I hope so. I really, really hope so. That was not what I wanted to do. Dang it. Okay. But yeah, I am looking forward to taking you along with me and filming more as well. I have been loving filming vlogs and showing you Zagreb and some of my favorite spots. And it's something I really want to do more of. And I actually did a poll asking you guys if you want this channel to remain primarily plant focused or if it's fine that I upload some vlogs as well. And actually a surprising number of you, like 80%, are fine with me uploading like all sorts of videos on this channel, which I am really grateful for because having a second channel is definitely a lot more work. And I'm not gonna lie, ever since returning to office, oh my god, it's getting bright. The sun is coming out, the sun is coming out. Ever since returning to office, I feel like YouTube has been kind of hard for me. And even filming one video per week is proving to be quite a challenge. So keeping up with two channels right now just seems kind of daunting and impossible, but I still do wanna make vlogs. They are so fun for me to film, and I feel like they really itch that creative aspect that I have been missing in my life. A lot of you always ask me about my drawings and if I draw in in my free time. And I'm actually gonna put up some pictures on the screen because again, a lot of you have been asking to see some of my work, and unfortunately I don't draw that much anymore. Part of it is just because I have been in that hobby and in this art industry for almost like a decade almost now, and I'm just feeling burnt out, not inspired. I feel like I just don't have the mental or physical capacity to sit in front of my computer for like 8, 12, 20, 40 hours working on a single piece of art. Because yes, sometimes that's how long a piece of art can take, and I just don't have I just don't have, I guess, the patience for it anymore either. So unfortunately, I'm not drawing for myself regularly anymore, but that is something that I would like to get back to. I just don't know how. Every time I try to get back into it, I just get horrible, crippling anxiety. I feel like I have a pretty good balance when it comes to every other aspect in my life and like other hobbies. I can kind of like balance my negative thought processes, but with art, it feels like whatever I create is just garbage, and I enter these horrible negative loopholes where I just feel absolutely terrible, and I feel like, man, you have so much experience and you still can't draw the thing that like is in your head. So like I feel like there's just like such a huge mental block when it comes to me creating my own art. And on top of that, because of AI and everything happening in the world right now, I'm just not interested in it anymore. Everywhere you look, you will find just AI slop. It just feels very discouraging, especially when I think about the fact that I could at any time be replaced by AI. Now, I do work with AI literally every day at my job, and I will say that it is still way too dumb to replace good artists, but unfortunately, upper management doesn't realize that. And I feel like that's a big issue in, not my company per se, but in a lot of other companies. I mean, Epic Games, the people behind Fortnite, just like laid off 1,000 people. So it's scary. It's scary being in the arts, and I just don't have any desire to pursue art anymore, especially since I have so many other hobbies that bring me joy. One of them being YouTube. And that's also why I want to dive more into vlogs and learn more about editing and making cinematic footage. For those of you that do watch my vlogs, thank you so much. And if you aren't watching my vlogs but interested in them, you can definitely check them out. And if you have any ideas on how I could improve my vlogs or what you would like to see, definitely let me know. Something I have been thinking about lately is just making longer videos, even if they're just me yapping. I feel like that's the kind of content I love to watch. It's not the kind of content that somebody would recommend you to make, but I find that I really enjoy just sitting with somebody and listening to them talk. Anyway, do let me know if you have any preferences towards that type of content. I would really appreciate any stored of guidance. Y'all told me in the comments what this plant is called, but I already forgot its name, so I will have it on the screen. But unfortunately, I think that something is wrong with this plant. A lot of its, as you can see, a lot of its vines are drying out. She's dropping a lot of leaves, and I am pretty sure that this has a root rot. I also believe that this is in way too big of a pot for the size of the root, considering that this does look like a epiphytic plant. Epiphytic plants usually do not have like robust or big root systems. And this is just, yeah. Oh, okay, it doesn't smell that great. So this soil is just mud. It's absolute disgusting mud. And this is definitely gonna be a rescue situation. Oh my God, this feels so disgusting. Holy moly. Oh, this is terrible. Like, what is this? Look at that. This is like pure black. Holy crap. Oh my God. Oh, you poor thing. See, this right here is why I always repot my plants the moment I get them. I know it's not the recommended thing to do, but this soil is not it. This is garbage, mama. And by the time that I actually managed to remove all of this soil from this root system, I doubt any roots will be left. Oh my God, this is so sad. And I was looking forward to this plant the most. And now I feel like I will have to basically start over. Oh, this is bad, y'all. This is like pure compost. There's nothing in here. There's like maybe 5 pieces of perlite in here. What is this nonsense? Oh my God. Okay, I might have to just take some cuttings off this plant and restart this plant because this is nasty. This is so nasty. You poor thing. You poor thing. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that this plant will be fine. It's just gonna take some time for it to get re-established again. But yeah, I can't tell if these roots are good or not. They are extremely fine though, and like I suspected, this was just way too big of a pot for this type of root system and this type of plant. Oh my God. Oh, the sun is peeking in and out of the clouds, and it's lovely to see the sun after so much rain and the storm. However, it is messing with my filming a little bit. But I am happy that we are back to sunny days, and I hope that it will stay that way because, y'all, the way my mood just goes downhill when the sun disappears is kind of crazy. Although, I'm not gonna lie, I did actually enjoy the rain. I didn't enjoy the storm, but I did enjoy the rain. Sometimes I do like a little sprinkle of rain. I just don't like when it continuously rains for like days on end. That's when my mental health declines. But when there is a little bit of a overcast day from time to time, I do be like, oh, hi, hello, nice to see you. But I definitely prefer the sun and the warmer months, and I am looking forward to summer. But yeah, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I mean, it is only April, so we still have some ways to go. This video is actually going to be going live right before Easter. So if you're celebrating Easter, happy Easter to you. I am planning to go back home to my mom's place, of course, and we're gonna have a little family Easter get-together, eat lots of food, which I am so excited about. Y'all know I love food. And Croatia has some really amazing traditional Easter dishes. One of my favorite dishes ever is French salad. I don't know where that comes from, but it's basically like a salad made with eggs, carrots, peas, pickles, potatoes, and a shit ton of mayonnaise. It is extremely unhealthy, but oh my god, is it delicious! And it's literally my favorite thing ever. However, because it is so just dense and obviously not the best because it does have a shit ton of mayo in it, we only make it like twice per year during Easter and Christmas. But oh child, when I get to eat it, it's so freaking delicious. So I am really looking forward to that. And we're just gonna hang out. I'm obviously gonna be seeing my little nephew. A lot of you always comment and ask me how he's doing, which first of all, thank you so much for even caring. That is literally so nice of you, and he's doing so well. He's constantly growing, he's gaining weight, he's starting to show more and more and more and more of his personality, which is so lovely to see. And overall, he's doing really, really well. He does have some issues with like acid reflux and gassiness, which of course every baby goes through, and it's just kind of sad when he is in pain and crying and you can't really do anything to help him. But other than that, he's such a sweet baby, you guys. And he's just so cute. And I can't wait to just see him age up. He's gonna be 3 months old soon. Like, time is flying by so fast. I'm so in love with him, and just seeing his little face. He's even starting to make like a lot more facial gestures and like smiling at us as well, which is so adorable. I can't wait till he starts properly like babbling and talking. He's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be so cute. Okay, so I think this is all that I'm gonna manage to get off of this horrible substrate. Now, I don't know if these roots are healthy or not. They actually don't seem that bad. I don't know, you guys. I really don't know. I am gonna remove, I don't know, should I cut off like these dried vines? I already removed some vines, but I'm gonna be putting this in a way smaller planter than it was before. Like, this is definitely a downsizing situation. So I'm gonna be taking it from a, what is this? Like, I would say this is like, yeah, this is a 16 centimeter. We're gonna go back down to a 12 guy because this is a pathetic root system. The roots aren't healthy at all. So I don't think there is a need for such a big pot. And I am gonna be using my fancy soil for this one because I do want this plant to make it. I feel like I made such a mess with this plant. Good God, this garden soil is just so disgusting. I hate it. Oh my God. But luckily this nice substrate has lots and lots of tree fern, and I find that epiphytic plants absolutely love tree fern. So y'all, fingers crossed for this plant. Please, please, please. I would really be sad if I lost this plant because I just got it and I really, really like the potential of it. So I really, really hope that she will make it. I think she will. I think she will. I don't think this particular substrate has ever let me down. Like if a plant is struggling, I just move it to this substrate and 9 times out of 10, it bounces back. The one example of a plant not bouncing back, I actually have behind me my Queen of Hearts. This pitiful excuse of a Queen of Hearts. I thought about maybe checking out the root situation on this plant, but I did water it yesterday, so I don't want to go in there. But I'm sure there are some healthy roots, because although this leaf is janky, like it feels firm and hydrated. So obviously something is hydrating the plant, but all I can see on the outside of the pot are a lot of rotten roots. I think I'm gonna wait for the next leaf on this plant to emerge, see how that will turn out, and then I will intervene and try to fix the situation. I would always kind of panic when I saw things like that happening to my plants. The more I am in this hobby, the more I'm learning to just chill, and I just cut a nice vine. Oh well, I hope these can root like Hoyas. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna do this and try to put it back in the soil. That was not my intention. I wanted to cut a dry vine. Good God. I'm so mad at myself. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that I used to stress a lot more when things with my plants were going wrong, but nowadays I'm just like, it is what it is. I just leave it be. And honestly, most of the time, the plant figures it out. Like, usually the plant just recovers and is fine without my intervention. So I am gonna leave that plant be for the time being and see how it will turn out. I really hope that this guy will do a lot better now that I have repotted it into a better soil setup. Boop. Okay, there we go. She's nice and cleaned up, repotted, and hopefully she will do fine. I think I am ready to call it a day. I think I did quite a lot today. I think I talked quite a lot today. I don't think I have any more like drastic plant chores to do. I should probably repot my Maranta lemon lime, but I don't feel like doing that. I have also been thinking about maybe just restarting that plant, but that's for another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me yap. Once again, please, if you have any ideas, any thoughts on what kind of content you would like to see, whether it be planty, vloggy, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and let me know if you prefer like shorter videos or longer videos. I know probably a lot of you like longer videos, but the issue with making longer videos is I feel like I'm just boring you guys, and I feel like I'm not providing anything beneficial by just yapping. But I do like to yap, and I do know there are people out there who love like just putting on these videos in the background while they're doing their own thing. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but obviously, do let me know what you guys think. Anyway, I'm gonna go clean up this mess. I'm gonna make myself some lunch because I am hungry. I hope you have an amazing day. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!